Welcome back to Gotcha Covered Sports, your one-stop shop for gambling, fantasy, and sports talk. Starring Danny B. and Matt McCarthy.
Hey, we are back, Daniel, and we have our friend Matt Cerrone still on the horn with us, shockingly. He's been suckered into this.
I'm here. What do you got?
All right, Matt.
Talk.
Well, both of us have the same question. Why is Sandy still there, Matt?
I think it's loyalty. If you've been following the Mets over the last 20 years, you know that the Wilpon family is incredibly loyal. They are often late to make adjustments to their front office and things. I mean, this happens all the time, for better or worse. And Sandy, I think he's very good friends with Fred. And to be fair, he's an incredibly nice guy, super charming, an amazing background, and he's not stupid. I mean, he's a smart guy. I just think, at 70 years old, with GMs that are literally half his age and have been raised on a completely different way of valuing players and looking at the business of the game, you're talking, it's just different. Yeah. So, if the landscape is going to be these younger GMs playing this other type of chess, you can't be over here playing checkers. So go get me a chess player. And I think that is kind of the Mets have got to be understanding that. I mean, I'm of the mindset that, like, if they want to continue to be loyal and go in-house, I don't really have a problem with Sandy kind of going on to be a consultant, so to speak, and have Omar back as the VP and Rico, who is his buddy for 15, 20 years now, be the GM. Because John is super smart. He's of that other generation. He values guys. Like, he gets it. John's an administrator, and that's what most good GMs are these days. It's the VP that's sort of the director that comes up with the strategy. We're going to be this kind of team. Now you go make it happen, GM. That's what the Dodgers do. It's what the Cubs have going on. It's what the Red Sox have happening. It's what the Yankees technically had back with Stick Michael and Cashman way back when. So if they want to go to that kind of dynamic, that's cool with me. But having the old school GM that's doing all, it's just, I think he's just got to move on. I mean, why he has the job, I explained, but should he? I don't know. My bigger concern is if they're going to go through a little bit of a selling phase here and trade off, not Syndergaard and DeGrom, because those guys aren't going anywhere. I don't care what you read. Familia, maybe Wheeler, possibly if you could find somebody to take Frazier, Asdrubal Cabrera, there's a market for him. Is Sandy making those decisions, or is it going to be the people that are building the next great Mets team? So that's kind of where they are right now, and I'm not sure how they're looking at that situation.
Well, you mentioned loyalty. How about to the fans? The fans deserve loyalty, too. We fill those seats for years and years.
Sure.
You know what? One thing on a side note, I was at the last game at Shea Stadium. Did you catch that one, Matt?
Yeah.
Worst day of the world.
The tomb.
Awful.
That was Shea Stadium. Guys, you guys weren't in a bright orange linen suit, okay? So it was a little different. Different.
Listen, the game is changing. You got to change with the times. It is a young man's game. He's 70 years old. You mentioned.
You don't have to change with the times. You can change the times yourself, but it's one of the two. You know what I mean? To just keep going along the same old path while everything else is changing, that is unacceptable.
Well, bring up these young studs. Who do they got at AAA? Who are they looking at? Second base, shortstop, first base. What do they got there?
This is part of the problem.
Well, they've got their shortstop in Rosario. First base is probably this kid, Peter Alonso, who crushes the ball. He's a little slow foot and he's a righty at first, but quite honestly, if you look around baseball, they all are. Mm-hmm. The days of the Keith Hernandez, Mattingly lefty at first is long gone. He's a masher. He's going to hit. That's fine. But that's it. I mean, they don't have position players. I mean, Nimmo and Conforto, they're in the big leagues now. Pitching, they've got a couple guys in AA that are coming, but they're not ready. They need an injection of young players. And more specifically, they need an injection of position players because they've got DeGrom and Syndergaard under contract for 2-3 more years. And Wheeler, if they don't deal him, he's up after next year, but Matz is around for a while. I mean, Lugo, they've got arms. What they don't have are these thumpers, these young under contract home run hitters that just seem to be everywhere in the league, let alone across town, but anywhere near Queens. So here's that is an issue.
Here's my beef, and I know that you live this, and I'm sorry, it's you live you hear this ad nauseum, but you bring in one-dimensional hitters as your free agents in Jay Bruce, and Todd Frazier. And I understand, there were bargains, but again, we're doing the bargain thing in a way. Number one. Number two, the catching tandem, the situation for the catching situation, specifically when you are a team built on pitching, has been awful. And one of my pet peeves, and I'm insane. I'm insane like you. You're betting on the Mets. You started
I bet against them too, though. I'm not that stupid.
And I'm wearing stupid suits that are colors of the team. How the hell? You've stood next to him, and this is I like the guy. But is Travis d'Arnaud 6'2"?
Well, I'm 5'8". He's taller than me.
Is he 6'2"?
He's at least more than that.
He's listed as 6'2" on the website.
What is the difference? How tall?
Because
he can't stay healthy and he doesn't hit when he is.
Exactly.
What's the difference?
I got this. This is all part of a conspiracy theory to make players more than they are. And I think it's Sandy's guy because he picked him. Anyway, so are we going to get a catching situation straight?
We haven't had a catcher since Gary Carter.
Johnson.
It's 30 years.
Well, you had Piazza.
Yeah.
Mike Piazza? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My
Piazza,
bad. That totally slipped my mind. Yeah, Mikey P.
No, but to Matt's point, though, if you're going to, and this is, I'm with you on that, like literally speechless, dumbfounded, because this one I never understood this. If you're going to build around this dominant, hard-throwing pitching staff, it would seem catcher kind of important.
Yeah.
Like that's like baseball 101. Have a strong up-the-middle defense. I don't care if they hit a lick. Put those guys on the mound. Now, granted, they've all been hurt, so, I'm not sure what it mattered. But, like, if they were going to live up to their potential, who cares what they're hitting? Give me, Lagares in center, doesn't have to hit a lick. Give me, the best middle infield you can find. This kid Guillorme, by the way, if you watched him pick it with the glove, is amazing. Not a great hitter, but he can field.
Yes.
And give me a catcher. Like, give me, not Benito Santiago, but like just give me some like wiry, smart. I don't care if he hits it all. Somebody who can handle that staff. I like Mesoraca. I think he's, like I said, he's done good. But they wanted d'Arnaud to step up. He was too much in his own head, and it was never going to happen. And to be fair, catchers around the league it's not like a primary position where everybody's just dominant catcher. So you're not losing anything by going with a defensive catcher. Find one. It can't be that hard. And give me somebody that works well with Callaway or Island, that works with the coaching staff, that knows what they're doing and can, get these pitchers and work them into shape. I don't understand how that's been lost. I really don't.
The Mets did better, though, in the trade, though, with Cincinnati. Harvey's not doing well with Cincinnati.
Sure.
So, how do they pronounce it?
Mazzaraco?
Mazzaraco?
Well, listen, Mesoraca, all day is going to be better than Tomas Nido and Jose Lobaton, who they had. And to be fair, the pitching staff was doing well enough the first week or so, and even last few with d'Arnaud and Plawecki, those guys got hurt, and literally it just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
And when Mesoraca came back, the ERAs dropped like a run and a half. So like he's been good. He's just not a long-term answer. Like there's got to be a young catcher somewhere. I don't care who it is.
It's mind-numbing.
Duffy Dyer.
Call a game.
Duffy Dyer.
Call up Duffy Dyer, John Stearns, and Jerry Grody.
John Stearns, we can win. T-shirt under his uniform.
Do those names ring a bell to you?
He's a bit of a historian.
Is he a historian? Yeah.
And we'll be right back on Got You Covered Sports with Matt Cerrone.
Been blind since I was 4. And I've never seen a beer commercial or a beer label. None of that stuff influences me. I drink beer because of the taste. And my beer's Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has the taste and the flavor.
What do you think's on the label?
I think there's a naked woman riding on a unicorn, jumping over fire. Oh, that's good beer.
Hey, we are back, Daniel, and we have our friend Matt Cerrone of Mets Blog and SNY. Let's take our foot off your head in Flushing Bay right now. Is there another sport and another team that you are passionate about?
Yeah, for the most part, I'm a Jets fan. I'm a Jets fan, not a football fan. Like I don't watch any other games but the Jets, and that probably has ruined football for me because if you're going from Mets one season right into the Jets the next, like that's a pretty long year.
Yeah.
This has been this last round. I don't know, but I'm going to watch, and I'm excited. What's fun for me is that when it comes to the Mets, I write about it all the time. I have to kind of put my thinking cap on and ask questions and pay attention to what's happening, whatever. But like with the Jets, I don't care. I can just sit on the couch and scream and yell and turn the TV off and go about my day. And I enjoy that. I miss that actually about being a Mets fan. And so win or lose, like I still have fun watching the Jets, even though, results are what they are.
6-10. That's what they're going this year. 6-10.
Jets are 6-10. That's a futures NFL pick from Danny B on Gotcha.
No, it's not
Covered
a future bet, but I predict they'll go 6-10.
How does your bet, or how do the odds change based on who they go as their starting quarterback?
Oh, well, dramatically. Right now I don't know the Jets odds, the win total, but it will change, and it will change every day, and those odds do change. But once week 1 preseason, week 2. By week 3, the odds will really shuffle because I think they make their starters. By week 3 is a big week in the NFL. So the odds will change. But yeah, I think I'm not a Cowboy. I'm a Cowboy fan, so bear with me. I'm not a Jet fan. I'm not a Giant fan. I grew up right outside of Giant Stadium there with Maddie. But those poor Jets.
Odds country.
Yeah,
Hudson
those
County.
Jets, they've been pitiful longer than the Mets. At least you got your Mets. I hope for. And they will win. They will. I'm telling you, they're gonna play 500 ball.
Oh, I hope.
And if not, I swear,
you're sucking me back in.
If
He's
the Mets,
sucking us back in.
Matt, if the Mets don't play 500 ball or play over 5, I'll even go over 500 ball.
Well,
okay?
they're going to have to make your bet to come through. I mean, if
they need 80 and a half wins. I need 81 wins to win my bet. They play exactly 500.
They have to play over 500.
No, 81 and 81.
No, but to get to 500, they're 10 games under.
The win total was 80 and a half. So if they play 500 ball, 81 and 81, I win the money.
What he's saying is that to get to that,
they got some tricks up their sleeve.
got some stuff coming.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Sandy's back at
Sandy ain't that silly.
David Wright's coming back. It's going to be great.
David Wright. He's going to hit 40 home runs after the break.
All right, Matt. I can't get away from it.
You can see why it's Fantasy Sports Network.
Yes, it is a fantasy.
The optimistic network.
Matt, this is a painful topic. Why is David Wright wearing the C?
Oh.
Anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
He's got to give that up.
It doesn't work that way, dude. You know that.
Come on.
They do that, and he's still as long as he's with the organization. This goes for any franchise. Like as long as he's in the organization, he's going to be their captain. I mean,
I'm gonna. You know what? I beg to differ with you on that. I don't think.
Okay.
If a guy is on if Derek Jeter had been hurt with the Yankees, the way David Wright has unfortunately been hurt with the Mets, do you think the Steinbrenners would have left the C on Derek? I don't think so.
Yes, and here I'll tell you why. Because we look at captain one way, like it's some sort of it's an emblem that we just put on and stitch. They look at it as the guy in the locker room that can command respect, that has everybody's attention, that they go to when they need something. And David's still that guy. Even though he's not there, he still communicates with players. He still helps guys in situations, talks hitting. When he goes to the ballpark, he's there. Everybody's talking to him. He has a presence. He's still their captain. He may not be their third baseman, and he may not be our captain as fans, but he's still that locker room's captain. And if you watch him in spring training and you see him when he's there doing his work, it's clear. So my guess is if it was Jeter, probably yeah. The fans, the media, do we agree? Maybe not, but we're also not in the clubhouse.
And we're also not getting $20 million. You'd have to pry me out. If I had any shot at any major league job and I could be in a clubhouse, you'd have to get a crowbar and SWAT team to get me out. So I'm not one of those guys that says, "Hey, David, you got to give up your $20 million." What are you, insane?
In 2008, I had the misfortune or fortune, I don't know how you want to word it, to be in the Mets away clubhouse when the Phillies were there. The first series after 2007, it took everything within my power to not, just start swinging a bat or at the very least tripping guys. It was awful.
I'm sorry to cut you off. This is true. I made the World Series tape for the Philadelphia Phillies in 2008. They won, right? The first year. I'm there. Pedro's on the mound. The Mets are up 7-0. And this is like late August, and we were right there. 1 game out, 2 games out, give or take. 7-0. Pedro's throwing a gem. The 4th inning, he starts giving up. I think Ryan poked a opposite field home run. I'm getting a little antsy now, but I need the Mets, and I need over 8 runs. So I know I'm like, but I want the Mets more. I need the Mets more. So now I got to go to the bathroom really bad. And I'm like, come on, get this inning over. And I'm throwing my hands up, cursing him under. Come on, Pedro, you effing this. Come on, get this guy out. Now, I didn't know, but the cameras were watching me the whole game. I get to Atlantic City that night, and in the morning, my producer calls me up. She goes, well, you're quite the star, ain't you? I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, oh, they were making fun of you last night. They were calling you the disgruntled Met fan because they saw me take off. Gary Matthews, he was like, look at that cat go. He can't take no more. I took off to go to the bathroom, but then I came back. Now, the Mets wound up losing that game in extra innings. If you go back to your archive, it was August of 2008. And that was the turnaround for them. That game, they were up 7-0. But I made the highlight tape of the World Series that year because it was just not me. And I'm right behind the dugout, throwing my hands up. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. They were saying, and I did. They had me all over the whole game. And I had my kids, and I had to get my kids out of there when it was tied because they started getting physical in the bathroom with me. My boy was like 4 years old. They're starting, yeah, fight the Mets, you screw bitch. I'm like,
This
yeah.
is, by the way, this is not his kids talking to him. It's other people.
No, my kid was saying the same thing. Don't get him wrong. No, but I remember that game. I made the highlight film for the for the Phillies World Series tape that
All right,
year.
so here's a question.
Disgruntled Met fan Dan.
Related question.
Angry Dan.
You both have kids, right?
Yeah, I have
Matt,
2.
you have kids?
Yeah, I have 2.
Are you
girls.
raising your children as Mets fans?
I mean, it's early. They're 6 and 4, so or 7 and 5 in about a couple days. My oldest thinks she's a Mets fan. I think because she likes Mr. Met, and the youngest wants to root for the Yankees because mommy roots for the Yankees. So I don't care what they do as long as they're not fans of the other teams in the NL East, and she doesn't care as long as they're not fans of any of the teams in the AL East, specifically the Red Sox. I'm fine either way.
My kids do root for the Mets and the Cowboys, so they're loyal to their papa. Unlike your, well, you don't have kids yet, do you, Matt?
Not that I know of.
Your dog,
you
though.
Can be damn right. That you can be rest assured they'll be wearing orange and blue stuff. And New York Giants.
And
New York
maybe when
Rangers.
they're out of high school, they'll win 1 World Series by then.
All right, so, okay, final question because we know you got to go.
Just go into the Met game.
And, Dan, I want you to weigh on this from your angle on the gambling side. Will the Jets win a Super Bowl before the Mets win another World Series?
I'll start off no.
You said no.
I'm going to go
No
with
to
yes.
Jets.
No to the Jets. The Mets win before the Jets.
And
I disagree.
Matt?
I'm going to go Jets. I'm going to go Jets because the NFL has proven to be a lot more of a crapshoot. I feel like you could turn it around a lot faster in the NFL. I feel like and get hot at the right time and catch it. But I'll say this: I think the Jets will be in a Super Bowl before the Mets are in a World Series. Winning, who knows? But I think the Mets are about to begin a little bit of a rebuild here, and I just
Did you hear that sound? That sound outside? That was just a million Met fans just collectively just letting their air out. You just deflated everybody's tires.
No, I have to disagree. The Jets are like the Mets. I mean, what are they thinking there? They never go after a quarterback. Would they go?
They did
this year. They finally did after all these years. After all those years, they should have done it years ago. But no, they have no hope. The Mets have more hope. And again, you doubting Thomases, you meet the Mats and Matt Cerrone. You guys are wrong. Our Mets will come through. I will win my bet, and if not, I will buy you the biggest steak dinner both of you can eat. I'm talking Flintstone size, like a Brontosaurus.
Start thinking about the restaurant, Matt, because we're going to hold him to it.
I hope you're right. I would much rather the Mets win.
Thank you.
No. Please.
I'll tell you
By
what.
all means.
I'll tell you what. Flip side of this, if the Mets do win, I'll take you two to that
okay.
restaurant.
All I want is 81 wins, and everything else doesn't matter. I do. Me and
that's
Matt.
what we're talking about.
Yeah,
81
wins. I put that out in March when the future odds first came out. And it went up, though. They went up to 82 and a half.
83.
83? Is that where they wound it up? Okay, because they opened at 80 and a half when the odds first came out.
All right, so this is our bet, right? And if they don't, we'll let him pick the restaurant.
You can pick it.
All right? Fair enough.
As long as it's in Pennsylvania.
Matt, is David Wright coming back?
I don't think so, but I know he wants to. You know,
Is it okay? Is he coming back ever?
At the very least, I could see where he comes back at the end of the year to sort of suit up and
bow out. Yeah,
thing. But I mean, look, he's under contract. He's a professional. He's highly competitive. He's got a little baby that can travel family. So, like, I don't blame him for, hanging out in St. Lucie trying to get his body together. I mean, who knows?
You get paid $20 million bucks. Right? He's getting $20 million bucks. How does the insurance work on that?
If he's on the DL for more than 60 days consecutively, physically incapable of playing, they can collect insurance, but it depends on the policy, and no one really knows how this one works. But it could be a couple different ways, not to bore you with the details, but I think in his case, the money can't be spent within like a certain amount of time. So, they may not get it until the winter and they're paying the premium. I don't know. It's complicated, but either way, he's getting paid. I don't think he cares where it's coming from.
Right
now, he's getting.
Right now, they're using some of that money to pay off Bobby Bonilla's contract still. Bobby the Bum Bonilla. Bobby Bo. Bobby. Now, I'm sorry, man. I had Sid Rosenberg on my show last week. He says that Bonilla came to the Mets in the early 90s. Didn't he come in the mid-90s, 95, 96 to the Mets, Bonilla?
92?
Was it that early? I thought he was with Pittsburgh.
No, he signed in 92 as a free agent, one deal. The one that he got bought out on with Phillips was in the late 90s.
Okay.
He came back.
So he was with the Mets, left, and came back.
Yeah.
Because he was with Barry Bonds there in Pittsburgh.
And Andy Van Slyke.
Andy Van Slyke. Okay, again, Pittsburgh against Atlanta. Who got that hit?
Sid Bream?
Sid Bream. There you go.
Next question, Bob.
Sid Bream.
All right. Matt Cerrone, thank you very much.
No doubt. Thank you, Matty. Very good job.
And, you got it, gentlemen. Thanks.
We'll see you at the World Series in Flushing this October.
Right.
Be positive, Matty. If not, you got a steak dinner coming.
I like
Thanks, buddy.
with onions and mushroom.
On that note, Danny, we're getting yelled at from downstairs.
We out of here?
Yeah, we're out of here.
We're gone. See you later.
See you on the next one.